That's the weakest squash I've ever had in my life.
Make it yourself next time then.
Welcome back to the next episode of That Gym Couple podcast.
Hosted by Lucy and Callum. That was weird. I've never said that. That's normally your line.
I know. I thought I'd throw things...
Through a curveball at me there.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, honestly. Tuesday is possibly the worst day of the week. I've decided. Today, I've made that decision.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Tuesdays.
I don't know what it is. I think we said before, it's just like a bit of a nothing day. Like, Monday is so...
So I'm just really uncomfortable.
Yeah, can you...
Fidgeting.
You stop fidgeting, it's distracting me.
Soz.
Yeah, I think Monday is such a productive day. Although Monday can come around and you're like, oh God, I'm not ready for Monday. I always feel really productive on a Monday. It's like, right, let's get everything done, work head on, training, nutrition's on point. And then Tuesday comes around and I'm just so exhausted from Monday.
Yeah, and then you kind of settle into it by Wednesday a little bit, don't you?
And then by Wednesday, it's basically Thursday, and then it's the weekend again.
Yeah, that's how weeks work.
Thank God it's nearly the end of January as well.
Literally one more day.
I mean, I don't mean to start this podcast on a super downer.
Yeah, Lucy's depressed today.
It's been the longest month ever.
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
It has been very long, but it's been very long now. Like the second half, it always drags on in January, and I think when you think back though, Christmas feels ages ago, but also not that long ago.
Yeah, but then if I think about like New Year's Day, that doesn't feel like it was this month.
No,
that was so long ago.
True. Christmas feels more recent than New Year's Day though.
Yeah, really weird.
That is odd.
Yeah.
But, you know, February's a shorter month, although longer by one day this year, as Lucy found out last week.
That was so embarrassing.
So before you know it, in 4 weeks it's March, and then it's your birthday 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, best month of the year.
Lucy's birthday, my mum's birthday. That's it. Easter this year as
Yeah,
well.
and then it will start being... I know it's so cliche to say, but I just can't wait for it to start being a little bit warmer, a little bit lighter.
I said to you this morning when we woke up... Well, when I woke up...
This morning?
Yeah.
What's that, weeks
when
ago?
When I woke up, I said to you, you probably weren't awake for another hour or two after I left.
Yeah, all right. We know I'm not a morning person.
I was like, just wait until you start opening the curtains or blinds and it's just... The sun's
just makes you want to jump out of bed, doesn't it?
And I was speaking to a colleague today and I was like, it's the sort of when the sun's up and you kind of think like, oh, maybe I'll walk the long way into work today, or maybe I'll go get a coffee before I go in, and you're just like, you feel in a good mood. And
or I go for a walk before I start work just because
exactly.
It's
like,
so nice out.
You get your comfy clothes on, like outside.
Shorts. Can't wait to wear shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, I still wear shorts now, but you always have to wear obviously like trackies over the top. But
it's just so much nicer.
And everything just feels a little bit easier. I was thinking that... Ooh, I just hit my mic, sorry. I don't know why, this is really random, but I feel like in the summer I'm so much more carefree, which I have no idea why. Because
I think everyone is though, because you just feel like you feel like almost like your funds are never ending. Like you can do whatever you want to do.
Everyone's just in a good mood, and I don't feel like the pressure to constantly be working or to have clients coming in constantly over summer. I kind of just take what comes over summer and just enjoy it for what it is.
I think that's what most people do. They just enjoy it for what it is.
But then how is that any different to any other month?
Because like if you finish work, for the day, you want to plan things. You got stuff. You're like, let's just go and do this, or let's go do that. But in the winter, when there's not much going on and it's cold and it's miserable and
you almost
raining,
feel like you should carry on working.
Yeah, or you just go, I'm just going to go home and just batten down the hatches and just survive tonight,
Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously it's nice if you have someone to do that with, which we're quite lucky.
Absolutely. Give me 5.
Or luck is a stretch, maybe.
Lucky for some.
Yeah. No, anyway, well, we were going to kind of start this episode by talking a little bit about, I guess, our struggles, because we're both, I don't know, are you struggling with your training? Because I know I definitely am at the moment.
Am I struggling with my training?
And maybe some other people out there will be getting to the point now where it is becoming a bit of a struggle.
Absolutely. I think I did say to you the other day, like I was it's the motivation that we touch on this so much. That motivation comes and goes. I think I'm in a better place with my training now than I have been in the past few months. I'm enjoying it more. I'm at a point where I'm feel like I'm pushing myself a little bit more. I'm doing things that I probably wouldn't have done before as well, like training abs. Shocking, I know. But I think generally it's going better than it has been.
Do you feel like you've got some energy back, because you were struggling with that quite a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that does come with the seasons and when there's a lot more going on socially, and there's events and things like that, and work's crazy busy and stuff. Sometimes that's good. I feel like sometimes that is something that really pushes you. Like if work's busy, it can tire you out. I completely understand that, but it also motivates you a little bit more, because you're in that mindset like, I've got to do this. So if you build everything else into that routine, it's a little bit easier to sort of maintain those levels of excellence. But it's also quite as easy just to kind of go, I cannot be bothered. I've had a long day at work. I finish and I just want to go home. I'm not going to train today. I'm feeling tired. My body aches, and I'm just going to go home and
I think people
binge.
probably think as well, they probably presume if you work in a gym, it's so easy because you are literally at the gym already. But I know from experience of working in a gym myself, and I've got clients who work in gyms who, they say to me, oh, you're going to think it's so silly needing a coach because I work at a gym. But it's kind of like the last place you want to be when you finish work. Like, you don't want to stay
and
another
hour. That's
hour.
the point. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I've been here like so long. The last thing I want to do now is actually just train, like be here for another hour and a half or however long it takes me to get my sessions done. And, some people will say, well, why don't you go train at a different gym? But then I've got to go to a different gym.
It's even more
it's the
effort,
same,
really.
but it's also, it's the same. It's the
still
same
in a
thing.
gym.
It's still a gym.
I guess the only thing with
same.
that is that you get a bit of a change of scenery, and no one's going to come over and kind of need you for something.
No, that's true. I mean, we went to a different gym than we usually train at last week, and we're going back this week. It was very, very good.
Yeah. This is actually probably a good thing to mention, that we were, if you were nervous, you were covering it up pretty well, but I was like freaking out.
Yeah.
I was literally like, Callum, I'm going to poo myself. Like, didn't I? I was like, my stomach is like in knots because I was so nervous. I was like, I can't go. I can't. What do I need? Do I need my bag? Do I need this? Do I need that? What if everyone looks at me? I don't know what came over me. I was just so nervous.
We walked in and everyone that we know was already in there training.
Yeah, just saying hello to us.
I just hit my mic now. Everyone was in there already training, just saying hello and just cracking on with anything. So it was almost like it was just an unfamiliar setting, but everyone else that we knew was there anyway, so it was fine. Everyone was just cracking on and training and doing their own thing. It was really nice.
And that's the thing that we always say to people, like, the fear is so much worse than the reality. Like, once you actually get there, everyone is just there to do their own thing. No one cares what you're doing. And I don't know why I worked myself up so much, but it actually ended up being like really good fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't wait to go back. But it just was funny to have that moment where I was like, Lucy, you've been training for years. You're so confident. Why are you getting so nervous about this? Yeah. It's just another gym. But yeah, well, that's good that you're feeling a little bit better.
How's your training going? We had a bit of chat about this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I have good days and bad days, obviously, as everyone does. I just sort of feel like, obviously, specifically with my reverse diet right now, I feel like I've not quite hit the peak where I'm feeling like super, super strong. I have days where I feel really strong. I have really good sessions and I'm hitting PBs. And then I feel like the next day it'll be the complete opposite. I'll feel really weak. And my knee is playing up a lot at the moment. And we don't kind of know the exact reason why. Obviously, we've speculated that it's just tight calf, hamstring, quad, like the whole right leg basically is just not really working how it should be. So it's causing me some pain in my knee. And it's really frustrating when you feel like you can't push yourself and do the things that you really want to do when my main goal is to grow my legs. And every session is like I'm battling with physical pain, but also that kind of mental thing of, if I push too much, is it going to just like go? Or am I going to regret that and it'll be worse? It's
hard because in that situation, like, you're going into each session going, is this going to be a good session or not? And then inevitably you're never going to push yourself as hard as you probably could, because you're worried that if you're feeling okay at that point, you might not be the next day or after your session or whenever it is. So yeah, I mean, we spoke about trying to go, and you've got an osteopath you go and see, and he's very good at helping with the issues, and I think we're just going to see, potentially maybe we'll go get a scan and see if we can figure out exactly what the issue is, because I've been there before. I had knee tendinopathy, and it was a chronic issue for me. It went on for years, and
perfect.
But that's what we don't want from you. So
no,
it's a case of finding the solution before it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
so you can
definitely.
preemptively.
I mean, it kind of already is a problem, I guess. But
yeah.
I'm at a point where I need to be doing more about it than I probably already am. Like, as you always say to me, like, I need to be stretching every day, not just on leg days. And admittedly, I'm rubbish at that. I need to get better at it.
It's very hard at this time of year as well, because the cold weather doesn't help.
Yeah. But I think as well, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm probably more reactive than I am proactive. I need to get ahead of it. What I worry is that it will get worse and worse and worse, and then I'll be like, right, now I have to do something about it.
I think most people are reactive though.
Yeah, probably.
Most people.
We don't worry about it till it happens, do we?
Exactly. I mean, look at most of our clients. They're typically people who have ended up in a position in their life that they're not entirely happy with, whether that's how they look or how they feel about themselves or how their body works or whatever it is, and their whole sort of the reason they wanted to get into it is because it's a reaction to how they feel about themselves or their situation. So I think most people are reactive, and I think that obviously lends itself to the situation a lot.
Yeah, we don't do anything about it until we absolutely have to, sort of thing, which is probably not the best way to be, really.
No, not at all.
Especially with our bodies and how much we push them. We need to really take care of them better. I don't know if maybe I need to take some more supplements, or because my recovery hasn't been great either. I mean, obviously I am pushing myself a lot, but I'm eating a lot of food and my DOMs are just so bad.
Yeah. And that again might come down to programming, and that's something again we can look at. And what I'd urge anyone in this situation to do is, and you'd probably do the same, is to have that conversation with your coach, or if it's yourself doing your programming, looking at your program and going, is this too much volume? Can I cut it back? Where are the issues stemming from? Is it on certain days of the week? Is it at certain times? Is it, what have I been doing all day? If you've been sat down all day in a funny position, that's not necessarily going to help, because the minute you get up and start moving, you can cause issues. And there's a whole load of things it could be.
I probably, to be honest, haven't found the perfect, programming for myself, the perfect volume, perfect intensity. I don't feel like I've found that yet. And if anything, it's just making me feel like I'm failing right now, because I feel like, why do I not feel as strong as I probably should be, or hitting the weights that I want to be hitting? And, all of that kind of self-doubt then starts coming in, and you feel like giving up. But I know I shouldn't. I just need to figure out what works best for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that takes time.
Or maybe I do just need a rest. Maybe I need a deload.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing we spoke about, wasn't it? That we were like, maybe you look at taking a deload week and just dropping the volume, but you never really know with these things until you do it, because you could take a deload week and then come back the week after and it's no different,
I think I need a holiday. I think that's the key.
Yeah, there's no arguments here.
You coming?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I think that will definitely cure me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Well, Marbella is at the top of the list right now.
Yeah, not really a holiday though, that is it?
No, it's a work trip.
It's a work trip.
Yeah.
So, not so much.
Yeah, not really a holiday
rest
at all.
and relaxation. No.
Maybe we need to rethink and just have it as a holiday. I don't know.
No, definitely not.
No.
We've got to work.
Yeah, we've got to work. And the thing is, we will end up working anyway, because getting content, training, that is part of our work. So
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, may as well just be a work trip. But yeah, apart from that, being a little Debbie Downer, life's good.
Life is good.
We're very fortunate and very lucky. It's just
it's
just a hard time of year.
And things are only going to get better and easier as the weather gets nicer, and we've probably got some cold and damp coming, but
yeah, I keep saying that to my clients as well. I'm like, look how well you are doing right now, and it's pretty much the hardest it's going to be right now. It's dark, it's cold, all those things. Like we're all tired, everyone's getting ill, everyone's like got loads going on right now. If you can stick to your goals and you're still dropping weight or whatever your goal is this time of year, imagine how much easier it's going to be when spring and summer comes around. Like you're going to find everything so much easier. So you should be really proud of yourself if you're still like pushing on in this hard time of year.
Yeah, it's creating those structures that stay in place all year round.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully for the rest of your lives, and then it makes everything else so much easier. And everything else fits in and slots in nicely.
Yeah.
What
Cool.
else? Anything else?
No.
Been up to? I shaved my beard off.
Oh yeah, the return of the tash.
Return of the tash. Return of the tash.
I love that we both just did that.
Yeah.
I like it. It's giving...
You pressured me into it. I know I was speaking to you about it, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll just like get the tash back. And then I was trimming my beard up, and you were like, do it. Just from over my shoulder. Do it.
I was like the devil on your shoulder.
Do it. And I was like, you want me to do it? And you were like, well, I don't know. And then I turned back around and you were like, do it.
And I was like, oh my God, you're actually going to do it?
Fine, so I just did it.
It's because he had a tash. We obviously not last year because we were together last November, but the year before that when we were just friends, he literally just like walked into the gym one day with a tash, and I was like...
I did it for November, and then I kept it until I think the 1st of Jan 23. So I had it all over Christmas and stuff. Well, 2 months.
I mean, yeah.
It'll probably be the same.
I'm liking it, to be fair. When you first said about getting it back, I was like, no, your beard is so like full, and I just love your beard, and I love beards anyway.
It grows back.
But yeah, exactly. And it's a nice little change. I like it.
Within, like, if I didn't shave, I'd have a beard again within a few days.
There's something about your chin that freaks me out slightly.
Yeah, it does feel like it feels cold.
Like, I haven't really ever seen your chin.
Yeah. Think how
I
felt
can't look at it.
Last year, when 2022, when I did it for the first time, I'd had a beard since I could grow one. So for me, that was like a real...
Like, is that what my chin looks like?
It was really scary, like actually shaving it off for the first time. And I was like, what do I do? Do I do it? And then I did it, and I was like, I can't, because I remember trimming it right down, so it still had a beard, but like not really. And I was like, I still don't know, like. And I thought, screw it, let's just do it.
I mean, for someone who like it wasn't even before, it's not like you just had stubble. You had like a full-on beard.
Yeah.
So it must feel weird. Not that I brought him loads of beard oils and beard moisturisers for Christmas.
They'll still be good.
Yeah, they will come back.
Yeah.
And yeah. Return of the tash. I'm here for it. Something that someone did ask me last week, if we could cover more relationship type stuff on the poddy.
On the pods.
On the pod.
No, I'm joking. Of course we can.
So I thought maybe we could do that this episode, because why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we could give, not that we are experts at being in relationships, but I'm pretty happy. Are you?
In this relationship?
Yes.
I'm over the moon.
Brilliant. Okay, that was hesitation.
No, I wasn't sure what you were asking.
Yeah, no. So I just thought maybe we could share some, I don't know, some lessons that we've learned in relationships and our secrets to a healthy, successful relationship, I guess.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Enlighten us with your knowledge.
My knowledge?
What do you think makes I think successful and healthy are different ways of looking at a relationship. Do you know what I mean? I guess if it's healthy, it's successful. If it's successful, it's healthy. I don't really know.
Yeah,
but
I know what you mean. I think it can, one thing that I think, like, when we first started dating, I remember saying to you, I was like, the one thing that I need from you is communication. I was like, if you're not happy about something, or you feel that you need me to do something, or more of something, or less of something, I was like, just communicate, because this isn't going to work otherwise. And that's my...
Sorry.
That's right, fidget over here.
It's just not very comfortable.
Yeah, like, I think that's something that for me, it was... I've noticed that from past relationships that it's really caused issues when someone's not communicating.
Yeah.
Someone's not saying how they truly feel about a situation or a certain thing.
Or they let it like boil up into something
Absolutely. And
way worse.
And relationships that I've had that have ended have usually been because someone's not communicated how they're feeling in that moment and they've let it drag on and on and on.
Yeah.
And this happens a lot. I see this all the time with, you know, colleagues and friends who've had relationships end, and for one person it always seems quite abrupt because the other person has been feeling a certain way for a while, and typically they'll just kind of unload it upon this other their partner and be like, look, this isn't working because of this, that and that. And the breakup-y, the one who's been broken up with, suddenly feels like, oh, what have I done? I can't, you know, I don't know what's happened. But it's been an issue for a while. So even if they decided they try and work on it, typically if it's been building up in someone's mind for a long time, they're done already. They're already checked out. They're not interested anymore. They want to go off and leave things there, because I've tried that. I've tried to be that relationship where we've tried to keep things going. And like, oh no, we'll work on it. Like I'll change. I'll do this or that. And from both perspectives, although I've always been the one who's been broken up with, so never been the breakup-er.
Oh, babe.
Always been the breakup-y.
Still time. Hopefully not.
If you
No, to be fair, same.
screw up.
I got cheated on in my first relationship, and then my second relationship, I got dumped. So
Yeah.
So hopefully I think we are both people who would always be willing to try, as long as the love is still there.
Yeah.
I think you should try, but like
I also think that's quite naive sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's something that I learned, I guess I'd say, the hard way. But yeah, communication definitely is one of my pillars of a good relationship.
Yeah, I literally agree completely. I think communication is huge, and it's probably been the downfall of my other relationships. And I think we've always communicated really well with one another. Like, we're just so honest.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what helps is because we can, although you used to say you were never able to read me very well, I think it helps because I don't typically have a lot to...
There's not a lot going on up there.
Wow.
No,
I was going to say,
mean,
I don't have a lot of like grievances with you. Like, I'm pretty happy-go-lucky, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I can read you very well. So if you're not happy about something, you show it on your face, which is quite handy for me. I'd say I do as well. But yeah, it's quite easy for me to be like, Lucy, what's wrong? And you'll be like, nothing, I'm fine. I'm like, well, obviously.
Great communication there.
Obviously, you're not fine, are you? And then I'll keep pestering you until eventually you tell me.
Yeah.
And that works really well. I mean, I could just be like, oh, whatever. She says she's fine, doesn't care. Doesn't matter to me then. If she says she's fine, she's fine. But obviously you're not. And you're also not the sort of person who's just going to roll over. If you're not happy with something, you'll be like, you might take a bit of time to get there, but you're going to be like, I'm not happy about this. Like, let's sort this out. Yeah,
I just think life's too short to like be in a relationship that you're not happy in, or just put up with things that like you don't want. Because if you start doing that once, you'll do it again and again and again before you know it, you've just in this relationship that just doesn't serve you at all anymore, and you've got no way out of it really, because you've let it happen so many times. So
yeah.
And I feel that you make it really easy for me to be honest with you about things. Like if something comes up, or because like no relationship is perfect. At the beginning of our relationship, how many people used to, because we put a lot of it on social media.
Yeah.
People used to constantly be like, oh my God, you're so lucky. Like how have you got this relationship? You guys look so happy, so perfect.
They never said that to me.
Well, they said it to me all the time. Just like that we were so perfect together, and we had like this word perfect kept getting thrown around, and At the time, it did feel pretty perfect. It really did. But that's the honeymoon phase.
It always does at the start, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. And that fades when you start spending more time together. You're more comfortable, and humans mess up. Like, we say the wrong thing, we do the wrong thing.
You upset people, you piss people off, you know.
Eventually, you are going to piss each other off. So you need to be able to speak about that. But I've always felt really safe being able to open up to you about something. Like, if something's upset me or I'm feeling a certain way, from the responses you give me, I know that I can do it, and you will just listen and hear me out, and we will talk through it like adults. It won't be this massive blazing row, because there's no need.
No, and I think I've been in that position before where it has been, you know, as soon as someone says something is wrong with the relationship, you take it personally.
Yeah.
I think everyone has.
You think it's you.
It's like, well, why am I? I'm not the problem. You're the problem. And then you fire back about
defensive.
something that. Yeah, exactly. I think everyone's been through those sort of relationships, and a lot of that, it comes from personal growth. If I look back through my 20s, yes, I am out of my 20s and have been for coming up 2 years now. If I look back through my 20s, was I ready for a relationship like this? No.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Had we met 10 years ago, 5 years ago, would this be like this? No, not a chance. Because we're very different people, and your values are very different. I think there's a sort of a way you look at it, and where your values are when you're younger. You kind of have like, you have to say you have standards, you know, you have standards for what you're looking for in a relationship or what you're looking for in a partner. And it might be, typically it's very specific. You know, when you're younger, like when you were like 16, 17, could you describe to me now, like what your dream guy would have been?
Honestly, it'd be you. You are my type on paper.
Okay.
To a T.
But like, that's what I guess that's what I mean. You know, like very, very specific.
Yeah, but I feel like we were like,
this is what I want them to look
fussier,
like.
I don't know.
Exactly. This is what I want their hair to look like. This is what I want.
This tall.
Exactly. They can't be this and they want to do that. They've got to do this. They've got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You have all these very specific
things
criteria.
that you think are important as well.
And then as you grow up and you grow older, a lot of those things kind of, you know, it might have been like, oh, well, they've got to have blonde hair. And then you're kind of going, oh, actually, the blonde hair thing doesn't really matter to me that much anymore. They can have whatever hair, or they've got to have, I don't know.
Blue eyes.
Blue eyes, yeah.
What has that got to do with anything?
Exactly.
That doesn't make them a great person, or mean
or
it's
they've got to play a sport, or they've got to do this, or...
Yeah.
I think it's a case of...
I think we're a bit shallower, aren't we, when we're younger?
Of course we are. And even through like most of your 20s, for guys especially, like, we're not ready to date most of the time. Like, I've got friends who've been in relationships for years. Like, they got together with their partners in their early 20s or younger, and they're married with kids, and I couldn't be happier for them because they have found someone that they've wanted to do that with at that point in their life. For me, I was not ready at all for that, at all. And whether or not that's just because, you know, some people would say you've just not had the opportunity, or you didn't find the right person to do it with. Yeah, of course I didn't, because I wasn't looking. I was, you know, up until my late 20s, I was happy going out, like playing rugby on a Saturday, going out with my mates, getting absolutely messed up on a weekend, rolling into like work on the Monday, sometimes even on a Sunday, the day after, feeling like shit, like feeling awful. And that was my idea of fun. I wasn't really that interested in a relationship.
And it's important that you went through that phase.
Of course
as well,
it was. And I think it is important for people.
Again, our relationship wouldn't be what it is now if you hadn't have had that time.
Exactly.
We all need, and I've had the same, like at uni, I went out and had so much fun. I went to uni in a relationship, and then that relationship ended in my first year. Thank goodness, because it was not a good relationship at all. And I hate the whole cliche, like I found myself at uni.
Yeah.
I literally grew so much as a person when I came out of that relationship and had 2 years on my own, just having fun, making friends, best time of my life. And then I got into another relationship for a really long time, and again, like, you do change when you're in a relationship, but I don't feel as though I'm looking back thinking, oh, but I didn't have fun, I didn't do this, didn't do that. We're just really content, and we're both ready for it. So I think it's got to be the right time in your life as well.
Yeah. And I mean, there's that saying, isn't there? Like, oh, if, you know, sometimes it's just the right person, wrong time. I'd argue that if it's the right person, it's going to be the right time.
Yeah, and it's never the wrong time.
You never really know. And
like, because arguably you were kind of came around at the wrong time. You came around like very soon after my long-term relationship ended, but maybe it was the perfect time. Yeah, people could
look at that and be like, well, that was quite, you know, didn't like you haven't had much chance to sort of heal from that, and yes, you could argue that, but I think it very much depends on the person and what you want.
Yeah.
You still wanted a relationship
I'm also
in some sort, like,
not like 19 and need to go and find myself.
Exactly.
I've done that.
And I think that's the point. It takes time for people to grow and go back to like understanding their values and what they want. Because without that, then how are you going to provide for someone else if you can't provide for yourself?
Yeah. That's very true.
You're not in a position to, if you don't understand what you want.
I think as well, something that's so important that I've learned is independence. Like, often in my relationships when I was younger, you just completely lose sight of your independence because it's all new and exciting, and you want to be with that person 24/7, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But your 20s are really formative, and
very much
you need to go and explore and do all the things you want to do. And hopefully, if you're with the right person, you'll do that together, or you will still have that ability to do things separately. But often what happens, and what I found happened a lot, was that we just ended up doing everything together. And that's actually not, for me, it just didn't work that at all. Yeah,
and I think you get into a sort of a habit of doing that then, don't you? Because you're like, well, we need to do everything together.
But you forget that you are your own person, and also your partner is their own person. I think it can get a little bit like, well, why are you doing that? Why am I not invited? Why don't you want to do that with me? Yeah. Why would you want to do that when you could spend time with me? And it's like, no, you are your own person.
I literally had relationships like that, and we'd have arguments over you know, I wanted to do something with my friends, or even like I wanted to do something on my own, and I'd get attacked because it was like, but why would you rather do that than spend time with me? And I was like, no, this is like, it's very different. Like, it's not that I don't want to spend time with you and would rather do this. It's just, why can't I do this and spend time with you? Why can't I see you later? Why can't we spend time together when it suits both of us, not just one of us?
Yeah.
It's different if you need me in a certain situation, if you're feeling really down or lonely or something like that, but you then probably have to learn to deal with that because someone's not always going to be there.
Well, that's the thing. People become so reliant on others. It almost becomes, in some circumstances, like a codependency. And it's like, you can't be alone, and that's not great. And when I came out of my long-term relationship at the beginning of last year, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to live alone for the first time. I went from living at home to living at uni with friends to living with him. For the first time, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to live on my own. I was petrified. I was like, I have to sleep in a bed on my own. I have to sleep in an apartment by myself. I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep. And then all of a sudden, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why was I so scared? I absolutely love this.
I was going to say the same thing. It took me a while. So I lived with one of my past partners. We were at uni together, and then we lived together for about a year after uni, and then we split up. She moved out. I stayed in the place that we were living in, and that was such a hard time for me to come back to an apartment that we had together.
Yeah.
We'd built our own life there together. It was to the point where I was trying to stay at work to pick up extra hours or just do something, because I was like, well, why would I want to go home? It's depressing.
Right, you've got all those memories as well.
Like, there's nothing there for me. I stayed there and I managed to get through that. That was, it was tough, but it was me then figuring out, okay, be happy being on your own, become independent, become, your own provider of your entertainment and your support and everything else you need, so that if you get into those dark mindset places again where you're like struggling and you feel a bit lonely, like you're the one there to pick yourself up.
Yeah.
There's part of the reason why during lockdown, I lived on my own at that time, and I remember obviously they were doing all the announcements and everywhere's closing, and my work was one of the last to like the gym industry was one of the last to close, which is nuts when you think about it. And we got the announcement and they were like, yeah, gyms are closing as well. So packed up, obviously when we went in the next day, cleared everything up, sorted everything out, and then left for the day. Went back home, and my mum called me and she was like, come back, like live, move back in with me for however long you need until you go back to work. And my mum lived with I think my stepdad had just moved in there. It wasn't my stepdad then, but he is now. He just moved in there for that period as well. My brother was at home, and I was like, as much as like it would be lovely to be around my family, I was okay. Because I was so used to being on my own and so independent at that time. I was okay to be able to just go, do you know what? It's fine. Like naively, I was like, oh, it's all right. It'll only be a few weeks. Like it's not a problem.
2 years later.
So I was like, no, like I'm okay. Like I'm genuinely okay. Did it get tough? Yeah, of course it was. But at the same time, I had a very close group of friends and my family that were able to support me from afar. And I appreciate not everyone else is able to have that, but being able to be independent definitely helped me a lot in that situation. And from the back of that, I was then able to understand myself a lot more and understand what I need from someone else, and what I can bring to a relationship.
Yeah, and I think then when you've achieved that, when someone does come into your life, that's just literally a bonus. It's not because, like, I think honestly one of the key things I've learned is to not need someone, but to want them in your life. I don't need you. You are not here because I can't be alone. That is not, in my opinion, not a healthy relationship if you're with someone because you feel that you need them, because you can't be alone. I can be alone and I'm happy alone, and so are you.
Yeah.
We are together because we genuinely want to be, because it makes our life better and it makes us happier to be together.
Yeah, absolutely. Have I shown you the comedian Daniel Sloss on Netflix?
I don't think so.
He's got a Netflix special and he talks about relationships. It's called Jigsaw. That's like three-part special. But one of them's heavily about relationships and stuff like that. And it's really eye-opening. I'd urge anyone listening to go out and watch that, because although it's very dark humour, some of it, if you don't like dark humour, maybe stay away a little bit. But he's very brutally honest about his opinions on relationships and why they work, why they don't work. And there's a bit at the end that he kind of basically he goes on this sort of monologue explaining, a lot about relationships and how most of them end in divorce and stuff like that. But I won't spoil it. Maybe I'll show it to you afterwards. But it's really eye-opening because it gives you an idea of how many people just sort of get into a relationship because they feel that that's what they need to do, or they feel that they're with someone already and they're like, oh well, it's better than a life without.
Better than being alone.
It's better than being alone, exactly. And that's not the case.
That's not how it should be.
No. And if you feel that way, like I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry that you feel that you can't be on your own. I know so many people who do just jump from relationship to relationship to relationship because they have that like inability to be on their own. And it's really sad. It
is really sad, and people that know me could very easily be like, well, isn't that what you did? Because I did jump into our relationship quite soon after, but I just couldn't turn it away.
Yeah, I'm just that good.
No, it was just so great. Like I could have easily been like, this is not the right time, but it just was easy. So I just went along with it, and then this is where we're at. But
I mean, like even when like I asked you, to be my girlfriend and stuff like that, you
shat myself.
Yeah. You were all. I remember you saying you were like, is this not too soon? Like, is this not? Are we are we doing this? You know, because I think you were sort of going, not necessarily like, is this what I want? But you were like,
I think I was worried about what people would think.
Yeah, you were.
Anything.
Absolutely, you were.
Like, I normally tell people everything, but I remember being like, oh, I won't tell anyone yet because everyone will judge me. And obviously, like, they didn't. But that was my main worry.
They were
and
like,
you definitely shouldn't
good
worry
choice,
about
Lucy.
that.
Good choice.
Yeah, no, they were very happy. But yeah, I think, as we've said, communication, maintaining your independence is really important.
Go out and do the things you want to do, and you know, you should be able to be separate in that situation.
Like have your own hobbies, have things that you love to do together, show interest in your partner's hobbies, of course, but also
that's
have
a big
your
one.
own.
I think that's a big one for me. This is when I knew that Lucy was the one for me. Was when.
Sorry, rewind.
This is when I knew Lucy was the one for me. When I asked you if you wanted to come on a rugby tour with me, and I mean, albeit it's not like a crazy, you know, lads rugby tour.
Yeah.
Like the group that I go with to play beach rugby with, they are very. I don't know.
Like there's dads.
Like there's a massively mixed bunch.
Yeah.
Like it's social, but it's very chill.
It's not like down this pint, otherwise we'll make you. It's not like that.
Drink your piss.
Yeah, I don't know what they do on rugby tours, but
yeah, that. So it's not like that at all. It's very, very chill. And I asked Lucy if she wanted to come, and you were very hesitant at first. I was like, no, honestly, it'll be fine. Like, I'd love to have you there. You've always wanted to watch me play rugby, and I don't play normal rugby anymore, so that was the only opportunity you'd really have. And you came along, and I was like, this is like you showing an interest in something that I'm passionate about, that you had no reason to really come. Like,
didn't know a single person. For all I knew, I was going to be the only female person there. And by the way, this sounds like we're completely contradicting what we're saying about having your own hobbies. I very much said to him, you go, like, have time with the boys. And he was like, it's not like that. Like, people are bringing their wives and their girlfriends. Please come. So obviously that's why I went, because I knew it meant a lot to you. Yeah,
and you came, you showed an interest, and that did mean a lot to me. That was the thing that meant a lot to me more than anything else. Like, it was just you coming along just to watch me be really good at beach rugby.
Get absolutely drenched in the torrential rain.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
But we got very drunk afterwards.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
There's a picture somewhere, I think it's on your phone, of me sat in my pants with some donuts
watching
Netflix on a hotel bed, just happy as I can be.
Yeah, I was like, you look so happy right now, and you were like, I just don't know what more I could want in life. I've got my girlfriend, I've got donuts, and I'm sat in my pants.
It was good.
Pretty sure you were like picking your nose or something.
Probably.
Too. I don't know. Sounds like you. Probably. But yeah, like, we're by no means saying that we are perfect. Like, we have issues like every other relationship, but we just talk through them, and we just communicate.
Every relationship is a work in progress.
Yeah, of course, because people are all constantly changing as well.
Yeah, and I think that's so important to add. I think it's so important to say that it's you're supposed to grow together.
Yeah. And if you don't, that's okay as well, though. Like, sometimes you do just grow apart, and that's really sad, but it happens, and sometimes it's not worth clinging on to a relationship that isn't right anymore.
Who are you hurting in that situation? Probably yourself, especially if you're the one who, you know, if you think that they're like, don't care either way, or if you know, if it's passionate to you and you're upset about something in the relationship and you fear that it's going to end it. I mean, this is taking quite a dark turn, but potentially that's the route you should take. That's possibly the path you should take to find your happiness.
Sometimes it's really hard to
of course
see that, though,
of
isn't
course
it? Like,
we're
both saying that we've both been the ones that have been broken up with, and I don't really want to go into too much detail, obviously, but in my last relationship, I think I would have just stayed being a little bit blissfully unaware that I was actually unhappy too.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until he ended it, I was so shocked. But when I did have my time to reflect, I was like, actually, there's a lot of things I wasn't happy about. And how could I not have seen that?
Absolutely. But you go blind to it all
Yeah.
because, and especially after like a long relationship, if it's
Yeah.
been a few years, like
Feels like there's too much to...
you do grow so much, especially in your 20s, and over a
Yeah.
year you grow, over 2, 3, 4, 5, like think how much you've grown, like how different a
Yeah.
person you were when you first got together to how different you are, you know, at this point. And that's so important to take stock on and look back and just try and picture like what you would have wanted back then and what you want now.
Yeah, but so I have a question for you just on that then. Do you believe that we are supposed to be with one person forever? Do you believe in soulmates? Do you believe, I'm not necessarily talking about like monogamy. I'm not talking about like necessarily one person at one time, but marriage scares me. I can't wait to get married, but it scares me because you're right. We do change so much. Like I've had 2 long-term relationships in my, you know, one pre-20s, one early 20s, and now I'm with you. I hope it stands the test of time, but what if I change again in the next 10 years? It's likely that I will. So
yeah, but that's where I'm saying,
do we do?
That's where I'm saying it's so important to grow together, because yes, you could be afraid that life's going to change so much and you're going to change and your values will change. They will develop over the next 5 years. But it's not to say that's a bad thing, because if they are integrated with my values, then it's something that we grow together.
But then do you believe that as human beings, we are supposed to just grow with this person until it no longer works and then we grow with another? Are we supposed to jump because we're always changing, or are we supposed to try and change together? And even when it gets tough, instead of saying, do you know what, this isn't working anymore, let's go our separate ways, are we supposed to go, you know, because you've got kids and you're married, is that when you go, no, we're going to stick at this?
Yeah,
it's hard to know.
I think you are supposed to work at a relationship. Why wouldn't you?
Relationships are work, of course.
But you work at everything else in your life.
But why?
You work in the gym. You work to get the physique you want. You work to get to diet. You work to change everything else about your life. Why wouldn't you work at a relationship in the same way?
I know.
It takes time and it takes patience and it takes communication and integrity and
it takes
all
you
these
both
sort of things.
wanting it.
Exactly, but that's the point. It takes you both wanting it. And to quote Daniel Sloss from his Jigsaw special, like, do I believe in soulmates? No. I think he says something along the lines of, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's 8 billion now. 7 billion people in the world, and you found your soulmate just down the road from you.
Yeah,
you know,
crazy.
The chances of that happening.
But that's what I mean.
Slim.
Like, we could constantly say to ourselves,
absolutely,
what if there is something better out there for me? What if there is someone more suited?
But the grass is always greener, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you could say the same thing about work. You could
move to Australia and meet someone.
Yeah, or for you, it would probably be southern states in America where you find a lovely country singer.
Yeah,
you've gone on a real little country.
No, but like, you live around the corner from me. That's a great example of that. Like, it's
of course. But
it's just crazy.
Do you live in Australia?
No, but you just make this decision in your life that you go, yeah, this is my person, and I'm just gonna do whatever it takes to make it work with this person.
Absolutely, and you essentially hope to God that they do the same for you.
I don't just think that's so lovely that
there
is 8 billion people on the planet. We get one life. This has gone really deep, sorry. But we get this one life. And instead of saying to ourselves, I'm going to use this one life that I have to meet as many people as I can. And I'm not talking about going and sleeping around. I'm just talking about like falling in love with as many people as you can. Because let's be honest, you don't fall in love once. We both know that. We've been in love before. Like...
Love changes drastically every time you...
Exactly. It's always different. But you could live your life and be like, no, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and I'm going to fall in love this many times. Because realistically you do. But also there's that lovely like old romantic in me that's like, when you get a love like, you know, what we have, I would say, you just want to hold on to it. You don't want to ever risk losing it.
And you want to grow together. You want to have that life together. And it's lovely. It is lovely.
So we're just like, hopefully this will just work for the next 70 years. And
I hope so.
Yeah, well, me too. But it's just like, life is just crazy.
Yeah.
Relationships are crazy. Love is crazy.
As we said, we're not experts on any of it, but we're just trying to find our way through it. And I'm sure many people listening are going, These two have no idea what they're talking about. But we're all in the same boat together. You know, some people have successful relationships, some people have unsuccessful relationships. That's just a matter of life.
Yeah.
There's some people that have been together since their first relationship they've ever had. Some people are still trying to find their person. Some people have never had a relationship.
Yeah.
It's just about trying to do the best you can,
I think,
for yourself and for other people.
You really do have to just like go through the motions, but also continually work on yourself. Don't spend your whole life like trying to better someone else or find someone perfect for you. Be really happy with who you are, because it's that old cliche saying, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to?
Yeah.
Or for you to be able to love anyone else. We know people who have been in relationships where it just didn't work because there was so many deep-rooted insecurities in their own personalities. It made them clash so much.
Yeah.
You need to be really happy with who you are, and then I think you're much more ready for a healthy relationship.
Yeah, or at least the premise of one.
Yeah.
The idea of one.
Yeah. We all make mistakes and we learn from things. And as you said, we're not experts. We're still trying to figure out. And, you know, we've not even been together that long, but it's going pretty well so far. And we both do have a lot of experience from our past relationships that, you know, do come up into this relationship, but we just work through it.
Yeah. I have a...
Can I have some of your juice, please?
Of course you can.
This talking's got me a dry throat.
I thought we'd just finish off on a little...
Do you know, I really couldn't be bothered to do this tonight. Love the listeners, love you guys, honestly, but I was so shattered. But it's been really nice to talk to you for 51 minutes.
I'll continue where I left off. Yeah, I thought we'd just finish on a nice little gym story. I guess gym story. But it kind of fits into what we've been talking about tonight as well. So I've been working out consistently now for about a month and a half, and my girlfriend's noticed enough difference in my physique to want to join me. I tried to play down my excitement, but I've always wanted a significant other who wants to work out with me.
Aww.
I thought that was really nice.
I absolutely love that. That's so nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I did wonder where you were going with it at the beginning. I thought you were going to say my significant others started noticing and now she wants to... And then I didn't know what you were going to say there.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. No, that's lovely. I think that's another thing as well, isn't it? And I know we need to kind of wrap up, but you don't have to have the same interests. If your partner is really, really into the gym and you're not, doesn't mean your relationship isn't going to work. But personally, that is one of our key things that we look for in a partner is someone who is into training.
Common interest is training, definitely.
Yeah.
But like... there's loads of things.
I think it depends how much of a big part of your life it is. For us, it's a huge part of our lives. If you weren't into it, it just wouldn't really work.
Yeah, probably not at this point in your life as well. But also, I feel like you probably change. You people definitely change who they are in their relationships. You find common interests a lot of the time, and it might not be something that you're super into, but you know, if you start dating someone, before you know it, you suddenly start liking watching F1 on the weekends with them because that's what they do all the time.
Wear the same clothes every day without trying.
Yeah.
Finish each other's sentences.
Sandwiches.
That's what I was going to say.
Anyway, on that note, I better feed Lucy because she's
gone delirious.
She's gone delirious.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Yeah, we
I hope
really
you enjoyed it.
Really appreciate it. And again, as per usual, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram,
Apple Podcasts.
TikTok, Apple Podcasts. Obviously, you know that because you're listening to us. So
yeah,
I don't really know why I'm telling you all this, but
if you want to drop us any of your stories or messages, questions,
share it to friends, family, colleagues, that random person at the gym that you see every time you go in there who's doing weird equipment stuff,
or maybe your partner who. Maybe we've touched on something that could help your relationship. Who knows?
And watch Daniel Sloss Jigsaw.
Yeah, okay. Right, well, we'll see you in the next episode. Have a lovely week, everyone.
Ciao.
Peace. Wait, why did I say peace? Do we normally say peace?
You always say peace.
Do we? No, you sometimes say peace. But we always do a peace sign.
Ciao.
Ciao.